Ignite is an ongoing series of speedy presentation. Each speaker gets only 5 minutes and 20 slides that auto-advance every 15 seconds.
Punching the clouds. This is going to be a very fast and pretty shallow and not very serious exploration of the history of cloud computing. Cloud's kind of an overdone term. My name is Mark Atwood, and I have been hacking on open source software and cloud computing ever since open source meant using GCC and Emacs. I've done this for Memcache, I have done this for Sun Microsystems, and now you could hire me. So one of the most amazing things that I learned how to do over the past few years is learn how to step out of an airplane and take the fast ride to the ground. You all should try it. There is nothing at all like it. Now, skydivers, while we're in the sky, we're very aware of clouds. They're really beautiful. We're very aware of where they are. They're also very dangerous. If you go through them, you don't know what's in there. Hitting a hailstone at 9 meters per second will ruin your entire day. So, like skydivers, we as software developers have to be aware of clouds. Now, everyone starts one of these talks with what is cloud computing, so I will do that as well. It is a loosely descriptive term for the synergistic combination of technologies, economics, and mindsets. They let us deploy computing infrastructure and architectures with a utility billing model. Now, I said it's a loosely descriptive term. That means it doesn't mean very much concrete. But it has generated reams and reams and reams of tech press articles for just a cloud of related concepts. And also, it's not really very a new thing. Next slide. IBM had the stuff to do this 40 years ago. They had internetworking protocols, they had hypervisors, they had VMs, they had the money, they had the zeitgeist to do this. Why didn't they do this? They blew it. And it really wasn't their fault. They lacked the mindset. At the time, we didn't understand how important open protocols, open standards, open communities, and especially open source was. And it took this man to really capture and distill it down to one statement: generate more value than you capture. We also had to wait a few decades to really understand what IBM had developed back in the IBM 360, specifically the technologies of virtualization. If we can take advantage of the essences and the effects of something important and not have to pay for the physical, costly reality of it, we can make magic. And so that's what we've been doing step by step. Operating systems are just the virtualization of hardware devices with a service API. So we don't have to write device drivers all the time. Instead, we actually get to write useful code. And then the next thing to come along was the internet, which is just virtual bit pipes with service APIs. Instead of having to call up the phone company and install leased lines everywhere, we just click on a hyperlink or start a VPN or build a web service. And that lets us write useful code instead of spending all of our time working with the physicality of telecommunications. Now we have virtual data centers. We have service APIs to do what we used to have to do by ordering machines and racking and stacking them. And why do we have to do this? Soon there's going to be over 10 billion user-facing internet nodes. 10 billion. Think of the applications you've written. Can they handle 10 billion users? If they can't, here's what they are. They are a toy. Do you want your application to be a toy? I sure don't. I can't tell you how to make your application hit that kind of scale, but I can tell you what we need. We need a flexible, programmable, hugely scalable infrastructure to run it on. And then our toy can be 10 billion toys for those 10 billion users. And we don't have to set up 10 billion of our own computers to do it. Really cool. Also, system administrators for decades, the really good ones, have also been open source hackers, usually working on automating themselves out of existence because sysadmins don't like boring jobs and they don't like boring people. This is an old sysadmin joke. Go away or replace you with a very small shell script. Well, it turns out that sysadmins, for the most part, have now replaced most of their own job with very complicated shell scripts. That is what cloud computing is. So what's the next step? We have a whole bunch of proposals and standards and running systems, but who will write the Linux of cloud computing? I don't know. It's probably going to be one of these three people. It's going to be really fun to find out. Thank you very much.
Woo!